Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. First off, before I introduce our guest for tonight, I do want to apologize. I did need to take a few day break, just personal reasons. My voice was getting tired, all that stuff. We'd been hitting the grindstone pretty hard the last few months. So hope y'all will forgive me, but we're back. We're going to finish out the year strong, and we're going to kick off this last run of podcasts here for the year with Robby Johnson. How's it going today, man?
Doing great, Thomas. How are you doing?
Doing really well. It's fair season here in Texas, so it's good times all week. So,
All right.
um, so how's so you're in Nashville? How's
Yep.
How's Nashville been?
Pretty good. I mean, it's, Nashville is good to you when, you come with the right attitude, that you're not here to show off or show
Yeah,
anybody how to do music. They know how it's done.
yeah, right.
So I just got to Nashville, open-minded, saying, "Hey, I'm here to learn," and had the great privilege to work with some of the best in the business, and still today work with the best, and very, very happy to do so. But yes, it's just, having the, and, just being there and being humble,
Yeah,
and being a family guy helped a lot too. And just being, it's people working with people. So if it's not fun to work with you, then they're not going to help
yeah,
you. But if they love hanging out with you, having a good time with you, then they're gonna want to continue working with you.
yeah,
And so that was my approach.
for sure. Has Nashville converted you to a Predators fan yet?
Well, I am a hockey fan. So yes, I'm a Preds fan. I go to a bunch of games. And my daughter actually works on the ice crew,
Oh well,
during the intermissions when they scrape the snow and all that. So she works on the crew. And so sometimes we get free tickets.
nice.
We go watch the games. And sometimes we buy tickets.
Fair.
Yeah.
For sure. Free tickets are the best teams to support.
Yep.
Anyone that's going to give me the free tickets, I'm there to support.
Yeah. But I
So,
mean, the place is packed. So it's not
oh,
often that we get free tickets because I mean, it's a great arena and the crowd is amazing, and it's electric in there. It gets
yeah,
loud. When there's a goal, it gets really loud.
right.
And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen some of the highlight videos on YouTube and whatnot, and it's like, if I ever move to Nashville and I'm wanting to get back into hockey, it would be really hard not to become a Predators fan.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
they have a great team this year.
yep.
I mean, and last year, the new coach did an amazing job with the team. I remember going to at the beginning of the season, they were playing Boston. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Boston, it felt like they were, two times faster than the Preds. But by the end of the season, I mean, they were really great and
Mm.
doing some great things on the ice. And from what I saw, I went to a game the other day. They won 6-0. Of course, it wasn't,
Oh well.
you know, it was, not the actual lineup of the Preds. A lot of guys are going to be, cut from the team and
Yeah.
all that. But still, it was a great game.
Well, that's crazy. That's really cool though. So, growing up in Canada, I'm guessing that's what got you into hockey and yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so speaking of growing up in Canada, how'd you kind of get introduced to the idea of playing music? Was that through your parents, yourself?
No, actually, it's so weird. It's so weird. I started my music career in Nashville when I moved
Okay.
to Nashville 10 years ago. Before that, I was a sales rep on the road. I'm a very creative guy, a lot of imagination, and I would, yes, write some songs and just sing my songs in the car, in the shower, just for the fun of it, but never ever thinking that I could be an artist or even a singer. Didn't consider myself a singer at all. But people, heard me and they were like, man, there's something. And they passed the hat. My girlfriend passed the hat, and they gave me this Christmas gift, which was a recording session in a studio to cut
Oh
a
well.
demo of one of my songs. and it was like the worst Christmas gift ever. There's a video of me accepting the gift, opening the letter, and everybody around is all excited. And I opened the letter, I'm like, oh wow, great gift. Because I didn't see myself as an artist
Yeah.
or a singer, but still, I went to the studio, no apprehensions, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this cool, country rock song because everybody's going to have fun doing that.
Hmm.
So I wasn't there to cut a hit, do all that, and I was just let's go and be done with it. But still, in the studio, I felt an energy and connected, and the players, I started singing the song, and they were like, whoa, wait a minute, where you come from? I mean, you should be in Nashville, buddy. This sounds like Nashville. Like,
Hmm.
no, come on, let's do this, guys. Stop it, stop it. But on my way back home, I had the CD in the car and I was listening to my song. I was like, oh, there's something there. And then I guess I needed that push. It's funny because in my life, every time I say I'm never gonna do this, I end up doing it. I was like, I'm never going to be a sales rep on the road. I was a sales rep on the road. I'm never going to be a waiter in a restaurant. I was a waiter in a restaurant. I'm never going to be, a singer, an artist. Boop, I'm an artist. So
Okay.
every time I say no, I'm never going to have kids. I have 2 kids, wonderful kids. I'm very happy. It's as if I know it. I knew it deep inside and I was scared of something. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's because I already know it. So I
Hmm.
needed that push. And so that's how it started. I went back and forth, started going back and forth in Nashville. Online, I put the music online, and a lot of people reached out to me from LA, New York,
Yeah.
Nashville. And one guy, Tom Roach, who worked with he was worked with the Osmonds. He was like, man, this is really good. You should go to Nashville, and I'm going to hook you up with Jimmy Nichols, producers, songwriter, awarded session musicians.
Yeah.
He has worked with Reba McEntire, Faith Hill. Amazing guy. They're a genius. I mean, he's played on numerous #1 hits, knows his stuff. Great cat. And so I started going back and forth to Nashville. And at one point, I started working on a project. And one point, I was at Sony Music when it was on the road, sitting down with Jim Catino, who was the big A&R back then.
Hmm.
And he was like, Robby, you see, there's maybe 2,000, 3,000 artists that come to Nashville every year to make it in the music. But the problem is they don't stay. They
Hmm.
just try it. Now we help artists that wants to do this for real. It's their plan A. There's no plan B. They're not trying. They're doing it.
Hmm.
So you got to move to Nashville. So that's why we decided to move to Nashville and just make it. And I mean, had the great privilege to work, like I said, with some of the best and cut songs from triple play writers
Hmm.
and sit down, writing with Frank Myers, Anthony Smith. Wrote my first single to radio that was a top 18 on Music World Breakout Chart, which for an indie was incredible. And
Hmm.
released the music video of that and went viral on YouTube. And it's funny because when I first got to Nashville, being in sales, I was a sales rep on the road selling
Hmm.
industrial products. In sales, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
So I had that kind of attitude where I wasn't gonna put a wall in front of me. But Jimmy and Frank Myers, because he started helping Jimmy with the production of my first product, and they were like, "It's a process, Robby. You're not gonna be on the radio. It's almost all the slots are almost decided, 1 year, two
Hmm.
years in advance, almost, from the major labels, and you're not gonna be on TV. Forget it, blah blah." And within a year and a half, I had a top 18. Of course, it's secondary radio, tertiary radio, but still, it was pretty amazing. And the music video doing so well. And then Elaine Schock from LA sends my first press release, and the
Hmm.
Late Show wants me.
Yeah.
So I was on the Late Show. That was my first, late night gig.
Yep.
It was a Late Show. And then, a few months down the road, I play my first ever live show in front, because I sang in front of people before, but
Mm.
oftentimes it was family, gatherings where it's family and all that. And my first ever real show, I'm in front of 35,000 people opening for Keith Urban, which was
Wow.
crazy. It was a
Nice.
big festival. It was their first time. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's a big festival. They have all sorts of genre of music. You know,
Mm,
they have a rap or hip hop night, dance music night,
mhm.
rock night, pop, and everything. And it was the first year they were bringing a country act on the big main stage, huge.
Wow.
I mean, if there's 100,000 people that can get there. So I was the opening act, and still there was 35,000 people when I started, and it was
Yeah,
really early, and they were screaming my name. It was surreal.
that's cool. That's
So the
that, that
steps were the steps were kind of very high.
very very all over the place, but you got it seemed it was a still a long road. Like when you talk
Oh yeah,
about
yeah.
like that initial recording session, from that initial recording session to the actual move to Nashville, what was that, like a year or two or a little bit
Yeah, about
longer?
a year, about I would say I think a year and a half. Year
Yeah,
and a half. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it
probably.
was and then from there it was another you said another year and a half to kind of get to where you got.
Yeah.
Um which like I mean that seems like a really quick turnaround, but that's still a lot of time of
Yeah.
sleepless nights of, oh, am I going to be able to cut rent tonight or this month? Am I going to be able to, just like all these different things that I think a lot of people kind of forget about.
Yeah, I mean, music career, I mean, I keep saying that it's the best job if you want to become bipolar, because you have those amazing rushes of energy. The highs are so high, and then you get a low,
Yep.
very low. I
Yep.
remember months, I think, was it a year before the Late Show? I was on my
Hmm.
couch and I was like, all right, so life is giving me all the signs I should quit. So I
Hmm.
should quit. But then a few months later down the road, I'm on the Late Show.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
so it's really a roller coaster, and it's very tough emotionally. If when you have 35,000 people, chanting your name,
Yeah.
and then you get back home and you need to vacuum, it's,
Yeah.
it's a drop. It's a
Right.
major drop.
Right. To kind of add on to what you were talking about, like I had a very similar situation back end of last year. I was in the same boat of like, well, maybe I just need to focus on my day job and put everything else kind of aside. And then I got an email. I got invited to CRS, which introduced me to Scott, who got me in touch with you and a whole bunch of other musicians that,
Yeah.
quite frankly, I probably don't have any um business interviewing, but I did it and I feel like I did a pretty good job at it. And then that got me invited to CMA Fest. And now it's just kind of like, huh, had I listened to myself that one night,
Yeah.
this entire year would have just kind of been, nah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And also, that's the thing about music business, or, any business, is the ones that succeed is because they never abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
They kept on going, even if they had everything thrown at them, like I said, oh, life is telling me to quit, and
Mm-hmm.
still they keep going at it. It's really a question of just that's what you want, and you believe it, and you just fight for it and not settle for less.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
absolutely. Absolutely. So you're in Nashville now. You've been there for about 10 years. You've seen Nashville grow just exponentially. Like I remember the first time I went in 2018, and that was only 6 years ago. And I went back earlier this year, and just the complete difference the city
Oh
was in
yeah.
those 6 years. Man, how's Nashville? Obviously, Nashville's changed, but how's Nashville
Yeah.
changed you as a musician?
Well, I mean, of course you get, of course, working on the craft for all those years and working
Hmm.
with some of the best, you learn fast, and it had a great influence on me. And yes, the city changed so much. It's really impressive, but
Yeah.
the energy, the excitement is always there. That's what's cool about Nashville. Now they have right in front of the Bridgestone Arena, they built, Fifth and Broadway, which is, have restaurants, little
Mm,
restaurants, and a food hall and some little shops. And it's so nice because it's really nice over there. And from there, you can look downtown on Broadway to all the
mhm,
honky tonks and all that, and then you have there's all that energy, different energy
yeah.
that's happening downtown. That's really cool. And all those music venues that there's always something you can, go take a look at or enjoy a show, enjoy a live band. It's so great. And it's all about a lot about Nashville. It's about the music. So
Mm,
that's what's cool about it. And so if you love music, it's the place to be, because it's not just country music. They do pop music, Christian
mhm.
music, rock music. Every type of music is
Yeah.
done. Every genre is done in Nashville.
Yeah, for sure. It used to have the moniker of the country music capital, but now it's just the music capital. Like there so many different genres are there and welcome. It's really diversified itself.
Oh yeah, they have
So
some places where they play jazz. Justin Timberlake, he has a bar that he invested in. I don't know if it's just his or
mm,
whatnot, but they have some great bands. A little bit of jazz music, a little bit of more of the 50s, 60s, 80s
yeah,
sounds. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun downtown.
nice, really cool. And so, where are you kind of at right now as a musician? Obviously, you just released a new single. Has it been almost exactly a month?
I released it October 6th. Yeah, so yeah, let's say
Okay.
a month.
Oh, what's the story behind this song, or what can you tell
September
us?
6th. Sorry,
Yeah,
September 6th.
I
Sorry.
was I was sitting there. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but okay. What can you tell us about the song?
All right. So, latest single, "More Than You Think." It's a song I wrote, and that's how I do it. I just sit down with my guitar, start fooling around, chord progression, and I just let it out. And this one, halfway through, I realized, oh, it's about my grandparents and the influence they had on my life. And because my dad left, I was 5, abandoned us, the whole family, started a new life, never told us about it. I mean, we burned the bridge. And my grandparents, they were there. My upbringing was kind of tough, poverty and all. But they worked multiple jobs that would send us money, clothing, shoes. I would spend the holidays at their place, summer vacation, the whole summer I would be there. Every long weekend I was at my grandparents' house.
Mm,
And that's what the song is about, the influence they had on me, my grandfather Leo. And the song, the message is, uh, sometimes you think you're not showing anything to your kids or
hmm
grandkids, but us, children, they look up to older, they have role models, they look up, they learn from us. So that's what the song is about, even though you think you didn't show me just a few little things, it's more than you think. That's what the song is about, and I've learned so many things from my grandparents. So it was kind of a way to say thank you. They're gone today, and it's sad they left before I even started my career. So I wonder how they would react to it.
Fair.
But yeah, that's what the song is about.
Nice, nice. And how long had you been sitting on this song before you kind of decided to release it?
Well, the thing is, I was going to release an album, had a bunch of songs, but then I was like, no, I'm going to release a single at a time. So I had it
Hmm
for quite a while, and it was next in line. And
hmm
really, it's so funny because I looked at the calendar, like, okay, 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, I'll release it September 6th. And I look at the calendar like, oh my God, on that weekend is National Grandparents Day. So
mm
I didn't plan it that way. It just happened, and I'm really happy it did, because it gave more exposure to the song, and I'm really happy about that.
Nice. That's really cool. It's been since I got introduced to you through Scott a few weeks, months back. It was right around the time you were releasing More Than You Think. That just shows you how backlogged my catalog is to kind of get podcasts going. Um, But it just kind of getting the opportunity to go back and listen to a lot of your music. This one just kind of it hits like right here or here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my heart. I was like, oh, that's not where my heart is, but oh, yeah, it just hits you in the heart, and it's a good tune, man.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And like I said, I just let it out. And sometimes I feel I didn't really write the song. It was just there and I
Hmm.
found it. I don't know. It's so weird
Yeah.
experiences like that. Some of my songs, I'm like, I didn't write that song. I just found it, it was there and I just grabbed it. And it's funny, I was reading an article, scientific, and they were talking about, entanglement and all that consciousness and they're kind of trying to say that maybe we're all kind of connected, the
Yeah.
past, the future, and it's kind of a weird thing, but
Yeah.
maybe it's true. Maybe we just it was already there and we just found it and just put it out. Because
Nice.
when you sit down, for me, when I sit down and I try to say fabricate a song and say, okay, I want it to be about this, and I want to use these words, it never works. It never works. It's a nightmare. And the song doesn't feel like it's meant to be. And I have to go back, forget about it, and then get back to it and just start playing it and just let the song be what it wants to be, and it just falls into place, and it's a totally different song, and it makes sense and it feels like it's meant to be. So it's a weird experience.
Yeah, I feel it. So you'd mentioned that you were looking at releasing a full album, but then I'm guessing the trends of today kind of guided you to like, hey, maybe we should just keep singles right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, every single is an opportunity, to get traction, to get the attention of somebody and all that. And it gives you something to talk about, as where an album, you release, say, I don't know, 10, 15 songs,
Mhm.
then they talk about it one time and then it's over and you have all these
Yep.
songs that get forgotten. So that's why I really want to go single by single. I will release, maybe early next year a full album
Hmm.
with the songs previously released, maybe some of my older songs from previous albums
Yes.
that I will revisit or remaster, whatnot, and some brand new material on which I'm working on right now.
Yes. That's cool. So you're actively in the like writing phase of things right now.
Yeah. Always in writing mode, always something. Yeah,
Nice.
because
That's
not every song is a good song too. Sometimes it's
fair.
just an okay song.
Fair. Do you find that you have to every once in a while you just have to get those okay songs out so you can work on the next song?
Yes, and I'm a little perfectionist, so sometimes I will, hang on to a song for way too long, and where I should have just let it go, but I'm like, no, I want to resuscitate
Fair.
it, give it a
Fair.
chance. It's my baby. No, I can't let it go. And
Right?
and then once you're done, then it's done and you can turn the page. But and
Hmm.
it's and sometimes it happens after it's mastered that you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Because I mean, it's weird. Sometimes you think about a song and in your mind it's huge. It's like the best song that was ever
Hmm.
written and all that, and you hear it so big, and then you produce it, blah, blah, and at the end you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah. That's and I mean sometimes those songs are just kind of good to have in your back pocket, especially if
Yeah.
you're out there playing live shows and say like the crowd starts not turning on you, but you kind of start losing the crowd or whatever, and it's like, okay, the normal song, the normal hits aren't working right now. Let's see, what do I got? What can I run to right now? And just kind of those songs that'll change it up, you know,
Yeah.
probably not a bad thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's always fun. I had a song, Austin, which was a song I would only do live, and people just love it. It has that Johnny Cash
Yeah.
feeling, and I do say it was inspired by Johnny Cash. And it's funny because one guy one time after a show was like, "Oh, that Johnny Cash song," he thought it was a Johnny Cash song, but it's not. But and it's always a highlight in my show. People just start clapping it. They just get up and just go crazy. And
Nice.
so I decided to release it. But yeah, sometimes it's good to have those songs that you were never ever think to release, but they're good in a live setting. I have
Yeah.
one. I have a song that I used to do. It's King of This Bar, and it's like
Hmm.
an old style, right here, right now. I'm the king of this bar. And then,
Yeah.
it's very up tempo, very cool. Where, I just say, hey, I'm not the best you've ever seen, but right now I'm the king of this bar. I'm on stage, I'm doing it. And it's very cool. So it's the kind of songs I wouldn't release, but it's great to do live.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, like I said, that's I've told a lot of musicians this. Having those songs that you can only hear live is what's going to bring people to your shows. Because if it's the same stuff that they can hear on Spotify, I'm going to think twice about it. But if I know like, hey, they're going to have songs I can't hear anywhere else, I'm gonna go check
Yeah,
the
I mean,
show out.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's
So
that's something that's cool. Yes, of course you do want to play your hits because
yeah.
people are going to be upset if you don't. But it's
Oh yeah.
great to throw something at them like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that, I didn't know
Right.
about that song, but it's really cool." And they're like, "Where who wrote that song? Who's that song? What that cover, they think it's a cover and they go search
Nope.
it up. They can't find anything. It's kind of
It's
funny.
like, nope, not a cover. It's just a song that's sitting in the back pocket. So
Yep.
oh, obviously, you'd mentioned that you're kind of in the writing process, but what's kind of the plans looking forward for the rest of the year? Obviously, we got Halloween coming up in a few weeks, and then Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that fun stuff. So, where are you kind of at there?
Yeah, all right. So I have I'm releasing a new single every 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
have a song out November 8th. That's gonna be out. Road I'm on. Scott has it. And it's a good, good country song. And with a message, with a story, and I really love it. And working on some new music. Also, I have my Christmas single that I call my new Christmas classic
Nice.
that I wrote and I recorded. And year after year, I keep pushing it, and it's gaining traction and traction and traction. And I have a great feeling about that song, where every year it could come back and be, like a Christmas classic. That'd be so great. It's a song that, I was talking about. I felt like I didn't write it. That's one of those songs that
Mhm.
uh, it came to me in my dreams, two separate dreams.
Wow. That's
Yeah. First, I wake up in the morning and I'm singing the beginning of the verse, you know that I've been waiting, like, oh my God, this is a Christmas song, I hear the bells and the sleigh
yep.
bells and everything, like, wow, this is so cool. So I start writing and just letting it out, and then starting to think, oh, let's make it a love song, a
Hmm.
guy and a girl kissing under the mistletoe and blah blah blah. And so I craft this song, and I'm really excited about the song. Like, oh, this is so good. This is so good. And so I go in the studio with my buddy Danny Rader, who's a co-writer, co-producer on most of my stuff. And we track the song, and I'm all excited. And I get in the car, and I have the song. It's not the real drums. There's no background vocals, there's no vocals, but I'm in the car and I'm singing over the track. I'm like, oh, and I sing the verse, I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is cool. And then I get to the chorus, and it just falls flat. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
something wrong here. This it's just okay. It's an okay. I did it again. I wrote an okay song, and I was so upset. And it's funny because with Danny in the studio, he was excited because I was
Hmm.
excited, but you could tell he wasn't really convinced about the chorus, but still came up with some amazing stuff. Play, the bass, the guitar, and everything. And uh and then I get home, and my wife's like, hey, how did it go for the Christmas song? I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like, what do you mean it's okay? You were excited, you were stoked, and it was the best thing you've ever written, la, la, la. And I don't know, it's okay. And I went to bed so upset.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this, and it just didn't felt right.
Hmm.
And the next morning I wake up and I'm singing the new chorus, the new hook of the song. I'm like, oh my God, it's not about a guy and a girl kissing under the mistletoe. It's about Santa. That's what it wanted to be from the get-go. It's just I was fighting it.
Right.
So I called Danny again. I'm like, oh my God, I figured it out. You got to book a studio Friday, Starstruck Studio on the row. I'll bring Danny West on drums, find me a saxophone player and some background vocalists, and we're gonna finish the song. Like, whoa, okay, okay, okay. And I get there, I sing the new chorus. He's like, oh my God, this is really good. And it was great. Sam Levine,
Nice.
saxophone player. Oh my God.
S-
The saxophone solo he did, we had goosebumps in the studio. It was incredible. And Danny knew it because he had his phone, to
Mhm.
record the moment because he knew it was going to be epic, and it was epic. It was so great. And I think the song, it felt like it meant to be. And like I said, I don't feel I wrote it. I feel I just grabbed it. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, wow, Robbie, that's Oh Santa Please, your Christmas song. It
Mhm.
it it's a great cover, man. Like, it's not a cover. I wrote the song, and
Mhm.
but I had help too. There's Danny help. He's a co-writer on the
Mhm.
song because of all what he brings to the table. Clarence J also worked on the arrangements, and also he challenged me on the lyrics, the initial lyrics of the
Mhm.
chorus and all that. So it helped me a lot to figure it out. And yeah, I mean, it's a great song, and every year it's getting more and more traction, and I'm really excited. I'm thinking about shooting a music video for it.
Nice. That's really cool. I've been real how long ago did you originally release Oh Santa Please?
Was it 2 Christmases ago? Yeah, I think so. So that would be the third one, I think. Yes.
Okay. Because
I'm
that's
not sure.
yeah, fair enough. It's one of those things like it feels like ever since the pandemic, a lot of independent musicians have been at least exploring the idea of writing their own Christmas songs.
Yeah. Well,
Eh,
me, I wasn't planned. It
Right?
really wasn't planned. And it was in October. Usually you track
Hmm.
Christmas music in
In
July,
yep.
maybe in August. And I was very late. It's just that
Hmm.
I woke up that morning with that song in
Yeah.
my head. I was like, I gotta cut this song, I gotta track
Right.
this song.
Right.
And I released it. But it wasn't even, I wasn't even thinking about doing that. It just happened.
Right. And
Yeah.
the funny thing about Christmas music is if you don't have it out like a week or two after Halloween, you're already realistically behind the eight ball
Oh yeah.
because like after Halloween, anywhere else in the world doesn't have anything until Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of musicians kind of forget, like, oh, after Thanksgiving, we're fine. No, no, after Halloween, that's when you want to
Yeah.
release it. So,
Yeah, and I was late. The first year I was really really late, and
right.
it didn't help. But I wanted to release it because I just love it.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% get it. So you've had a busy 2024 so far, and you're not slowing down anytime soon, which I love to hear. Where are you kind of at show wise right now? Are you playing pretty consistently, or are you focused on
Well, right now I'm
recording?
focused on recording, releasing, and I do have a private gig that's coming up, and a few other things here and there. But I'm working because the live shows, it's the best. It's really the
Hmm.
best, and nothing tops a live show when you connect with the audience and when you're able to be in the moment, but really in the moment. Because sometimes you're performing live and you're thinking about too many things.
Yeah.
There's some glitches, your in-ears don't work properly, or there's a pedal on a pedal board that doesn't work, and there's no guitar solo during a song, and then people don't hear it in the crowd, but
Hmm.
we on stage, we hear it. I hear it for sure if things go wrong. And sometimes it throws you off, and people, they have a great experience, they love the show, and it was great. But when everything works perfectly and you're in the moment, you turn around, you look at your players and you connect, the eye contact, like, oh my God, this
Right.
is insane, and you turn around, you look at the crowd and they stare at you, and you make eye contact, and everybody's like, oh my God, we're living this moment that we are going to remember for a very very long time, that we're going to
Hmm.
we're going to share it for a long time. and there's nothing compares to that. I was on the Late Show. I've opened for Keith Urban. I've
Hmm.
done many. I sang twice with Keith Urban on
Yeah.
his stage. So many things I did. Some big festivals and thousands of people, smaller crowds, but it's when you're in the moment on a live show
Yeah.
that's the best. That's the best thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do want to touch base on Keith Urban though, really quick. I have a lot of respect for that man because he seems to always give those up and coming musicians a platform of some sort to kind
Yeah,
of see if they've got it, like whether they can make it as a touring artist. There was a musician that I met well, I had her on the podcast last year, but then I met her at CRS, and then like 2 weeks later, she's playing with Keith Urban at CMT, or it's Country Music Television, whatever that
yeah.
one is, down here in Austin at their award show. And I was sitting there watching a YouTube video and I was like, wait a minute, wait, what? And because I
Oh yeah.
just released her episode like 2 days prior. So it was
Wow.
I have a lot of respect for that man. So
Oh yeah, he's a real great guy. It's funny, before when I opened for him before the show, he had his
mhm.
iPad. He was, I guess, FaceTiming with his family and
Yeah,
showing. It's so cute. It's so sweet. He's a sweet guy.
yeah, for sure. I want to give you one more kudos for the night. You're doing something really cool that I wish a lot more musicians would do. You have a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah,
I've been telling musicians for a very long time, like LinkedIn is a very underrated platform. Like you guys need to be on it, treat it like Facebook, and I think you'll see the results.
yeah,
So
and it's funny because sometimes you try and DM some people
yeah,
with the other platforms and they don't respond, and you just, oh, wait a minute, LinkedIn. And they
yeah,
respond on
right.
LinkedIn, which is funny. Yeah, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
I love to post. I haven't posted lately,
Mhm.
but I will usually I do post also on LinkedIn and just keep up with that.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that. I was looking for something on, or I was looking for some information on you the other day just to kind of finalize some all that stuff. And I was looking at your like social media icons on your website. It's like, wait a minute, that's a LinkedIn profile. Click. Oh, okay. Yes. So musicians do use this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So awesome. And then for anybody that wants to check out your music, shows, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Well, social media, very easy. Robby Johnson Music. That's my handle for pretty much everything. It's Robby with a Y. So Robby Johnson Music. And that's the easiest way to find me. And everything's on there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Robbie, thank you so much for joining us. I've had an absolute blast chatting with you. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
All right. Thank you so much again.
Yep.